America is on a train to hell.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
And if in these next 10 years, African Americans don't wake up and understand that my only refuge is to come to Africa, then hey, that's a story for another day and another time. I'm just saying, we better figure out how to get along.
Right.
And we better figure out how not to just get along, but how to see the best in each other and how to see how to create benefit, create growth, create harmony and understanding together, because it's a war going on outside.
Oh yeah.
Personally, I'm African, born, raised, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see African Americans in Africa, I feel so happy. But the reason why I do that is because I've read their history. I've understood where they came from, what's happened to them, everything. And I sympathize with these people. And I said, how did these people survive this?
Right.
I said, this is magic. You can't survive this. But this is from a point of understanding. Now, the people in the villages don't know this. They don't know what happened.
Yeah.
They know these guys are having good life. They just, it's a walk in the park. They know these guys are billionaires. When they see an African-American coming here, they say, this guy has a lot of money.
Yeah.
This is ignorance. We are all ignorant about each other. But the point is, when the Europeans came, it became massive. The only reason why our ancestors were sold like chicken is that the chiefs, the leaders, were looking at small things. And they never united to fight against a common enemy. So now the European slave traders were smart. They said, you know what? Let's now side with Uganda. And they said, Uganda chief, don't worry. Everything is okay. But we want to get Wanyankore. We want to get Aru people or Acholi. So the Uganda would go out and fight the other ones. I'm giving an example.
Yeah.
So you would find that after finishing the men the other side, they will come back and get this Uganda. And they'll take the chief after taking everyone. So, and this has been our problem. We always look for things that can separate us. And we miss out the things that can unite us. And the other thing I've seen in life, which I've seen, is that poor people never like each other.
Oh.
They never. You see an example from here in Africa.
Yeah.
When we have politics, when we're discussing politics, the rich people discuss normally in this. It's a good discussion. They disagree and agree. But the poor people hack each other to death. They kill each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they say, no, who are you? You have a big nose, you have a long nose, you have a big ear, you have a what?
Yeah.
They hack each other to death.
Hi guys, welcome to Kenganda. My name is Janita Maya and this is the Repat Podcast. I'll let these handsome gentlemen introduce themselves.
What's up, world? Boy Master Gabs back here in the studio.
Okay.
Happy to be here.
All
Welcome, Gabs.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name's Sheruram Pora. I am honored to be here. I'm a Pan-Africanist and a businessman. Thank you.
Okay.
I need to borrow some money from him. But O'Shea Duke, let's get it Sacramento.
Okay. Now we do have this video from Tim Swine on YouTube, and this lady is saying how she was treated differently when they found out that she was African American by other Africans.
As soon as they found out that I wasn't Ethiopian, and in fact I'm like quote unquote regular black, like this whole like disgust. You know what I mean? Like, you have no culture. You're not one of us, and it was off-putting because you're like, 1 minute ago we was cool, like 1 minute ago I look like you, I talk like you, you think I'm like you, so I'm thinking this is where we connect because I've been searching for this brotherhood and sisterhood and unity one to another as an African. Then I meet Africans that I actually look like, and they're like, you're beans,
Okay, guys. What do you think about what she had to say?
Rookies go first.
You want me to go first?
Please.
Okay. Thank you. What I think the interaction between the African American and the African community, it's been a while since we've been in touch. It's been hundreds of years. So when we meet from a point of ignorance, both parties. I experienced this because when I started understanding the African American community, I was trying to understand who they were. And but if I hadn't read, I would have probably thought they don't like Africans. So the problem which the lady's talking about is she comes into a society that doesn't really know anything to do with African American. They just see them on TV, and when they see black, they know you must be from a tribe. And so when they come to interact with you, then they find out you're not from Africa. So they try and because humanity is always about identifying. So who are you? They want to place you in a position where they can understand who you are. So now they place you in the white man's land. So now they actually identify you as a white man because everything you do is a white man's way. Because the fact that our brothers and sisters in diaspora have lived in those lands, they have picked up the cultures from those lands. So the cultures from the other lands are alien to the African cultures. So when we meet, we're like, okay, we don't understand this. Even when African Americans come here, they don't understand our cultures. They're shocked. And they say, how do you do this? I can't believe that this is done by human beings. But we are meeting from a point of ignorance. Some of the things. So it's meeting new cultures. I'll give you an example. If I go and marry in a new culture,
Yes.
even here in Africa, there are a lot of things that different cultures do which my culture don't do.
Right.
And it becomes totally weird. You try to understand how these people, how they eat breakfast,
Yes.
how the old man in the house eats the whole chicken, but the kids can't eat the chicken. So you're trying to understand the whole new culture. So we are meeting from a point of ignorance, and the only way we can cure this is to have people learn each other. Deep digger, understand African people on the continent, understand African people in the diaspora. So when we understand each other, it becomes easy to interact. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
I told you the brother's gonna swing it back. He's getting started. That's
Coming
my
for
brother now.
Gusto.
He's going. I told you the brother has some heat now.
Nigga said thank you.
he got the brother.
I like that.
He dropped the mic. He's heating up.
Yeah.
But let's have Gab say something.
Yeah.
Oh man. So my experience is entirely different. So I grew up in the US.
Yeah.
I was an African in America, growing up amongst African Americans, living amongst Africans. And in that interaction, when you are growing up and developing your values, there's a distinction between your parents' African values and the Western American values that you see your friends' families espousing. So you manage to not necessarily see a conflict in that, but it's just different. So I wouldn't say that I understood and appreciated a dislike or a disdain from one culture to another, except in petty school kid things like making fun of my name and stuff like that. But it wasn't deeper than that, right? But then when I return home to Uganda and I present myself as a man with an African name, but an American demeanor and voice, I felt the lack of acceptance. Because as my brother has just so rightly said, they didn't understand why I did what I did, how I did it, why I thought the way that I thought, and things of that nature. So because I wasn't presenting myself in a way that was familiar to what they accepted as their way, I was definitely made to feel other than. For me, the journey around understanding how Africans view African Americans has really become, cemented by a lot of what we see in social media these days. A lot of what is presented is the worst of what culture has to offer. A lot of what African American culture represents to, let's call it the casual African. You know how in sports you can be a casual fan, right? Who just looks at things on the surface, but you don't take time to dig deeper and understand the nuance of it. So somebody who was, 25 to 30 years old, who wasn't a reader of world news, who wasn't a reader of, the things that help you understand and define what the truth of humanity is about. If somebody who just consumes social media and looks at it at the surface, saw the shade room, saw, all of these things, right? Saw reality TV and how, African Americans are presented to the world in that way, oftentimes by themselves, you can be biased and think less of somebody just based on those biases and those prejudices. So superficially, it makes sense for people to have that. It's not right. I don't think it's right, but it makes sense that they do.
Right.
But I think once everybody opens their minds and allows themselves to get to know somebody truly and understand the nuances of that person as a human, then hopefully that can go away.
Yeah.
My mom is watching this, but I gotta be very straightforward. Some people in this life is not gonna like you, and if they don't, fuck them. Plan straight out. That's just, I'm gonna get to the point.
Yeah.
Because, I noticed on this channel, we get people in the comments, and anybody can have a reason for why they don't like you. It could be any reason. I don't like the Dallas Cowboys fans. I don't like Lakers fans. I just don't like them. I don't know why I don't like them. I just don't like them. And there are going to be some people that's not going to like you because you're from Uganda. I see it between Uganda and Kenya, Nigeria and Ghana. And some people are not going to like you because you're not like them or what they think about you. What can you do? I don't worry about motherfuckers who don't like me. I worry about who do like me. I don't. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about who likes me, and the way I can influence that is by doing what I'm supposed to do. And I've noticed that one thing that is general across all lines and cultures, being a great person, doing what you're supposed to do, and respect people, it gets you in a lot of doors. These brothers are from a different tribe than me. They're from the same tribe. I don't want to say it wrong. Is it Nkole?
Yeah.
I met them out the blue. and we buddies, especially me and this one here. Okay? We joke all the time. But it's about, do you have a heart for your people? And if you do, what do you do to prove that? Obviously, when you're going into a new culture, you got a lot to prove. When I came to Uganda, I have a lot to prove. People are going to be biased towards you, suspicious towards you, or whatever. And that's fine, because we would also be suspicious in the black community if they were to come there. So people have to prove themselves. But once you are somebody and people like you, and you're a great person, and you're down for the cause, people will accept you. We have so many great Africans out there who have accepted what we do. Go to Kenya. You go to Nairobi, on the buses, Tupac, Michael Jordan, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King.
Right.
These are Africans who accept you. And 99% of the time, I never had an African that came up to me and said, I don't like you because you're from America. Never. And when sometimes we're going to have those people who don't like our people, and we're going to have our people who don't like them people. But fuck them. Those are not the people we need to be concerned with. Our brother here brought a good topic that we're going to be talking about later on today. The role of the diaspora in developing Africa. In any country where there's a country that's a president, he has people who don't like him anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
You think he gives a fuck every day when he gets up? If they don't like me? No. We have to stop being so concerned about people who don't like us in the black world, because humanity will not like you. But be focused on the people that's in the middle. If you don't like me, then maybe we can have a conversation about the why you don't like me. Shout out to brother Kenganda, that was a Baker Kenganda, and we can discuss why you don't like me. And if it is, well, I thought you said this. Okay. Then usually when you can talk, you can come to some common ground. But if you're doing the good work, and if you're trying to help your people still not gonna like you even after that, some of them. They didn't like Jesus. They didn't like Gandhi. They didn't like Malcolm X. So Thomas Sankara is the greatest African president in this century.
Yeah.
And he got killed. So what do that mean for you? So eventually we need to stop focusing about the Africans and the blacks who don't like us, and look at how many blacks have opened the door for me in this country. Brothers like Gaba, people like my staff, and that showed me. My mom used to cry all the time. Don't go to Uganda. They're going to do witchcraft on you.
Ooh.
It's my mom. But now she thankful that you guys are taking care of me. So we need to be focused on the black world about what progress. People who don't like you usually are against progress.
Yeah.
Let's be focused about what we can do to develop the diaspora. And those are the people we're dealing with. And we spend so much time developing, thinking about people who don't like you, get caught up in that, then you miss opportunities. Let me just tell you this. How much business, I think me and Brother Emperor was talking about this. I think I had saw you at Kabir one day.
Yeah.
And you're talking about all the opportunities in business that we have as a diaspora and on the continent that we miss out because of foolishness, stupidity, and being petty. And when we're petty, we don't get a bigger market. So we need to be focused on what we agree about. And does that person have value, and are they respectful? If you don't understand something, be respectful and make mistakes. Apologize. I didn't know that was the culture. How can I appease myself? Most people are okay with that. They know you're going to make mistakes. So that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah. Well, I'll say for one, as a Ugandan, when I meet an African American, I say this all the time. I feel like you will be discriminated against just from your accent, not from your color, from your accent.
Yeah.
It can be something as simple as price discrimination, or someone can hear your accent and then know you're not from here. Even a normal Ugandan, when we go to the village for Christmas and whatnot, they can sense, they know you're not from there. You know, I don't know what, I think when they hear your accent and then they hear your local language is not all the way there, there's a little bit of English here and there, they'll also treat you a certain way. So I feel like when people find out that you're not from there, they treat you a certain type of way until you prove yourself, like Osha mentioned. But yeah, that's it. Guys, what do you say about someone who says sometimes Africans also feel like African Americans also treat them a certain way?
I say but both sides.
Okay.
Both sides. They don't like you.
Uh-huh.
We don't have time to be sitting around trying to appease people. And don't get mad because that certain group, there's a lot of Africans that don't like African Americans. I used to get caught up in that in 2015. And then when I moved to Europe, I noticed that it wasn't really like that, but you'll see somebody trolling. Most people, if you're black, if you can add value, they will help you. A lot of Africans have helped me. What I have today is because Africans helped me and African Americans supported me. I got that from both sides. So if an African American is discriminated against you for whatever reason, it could be a reason, whatever. Look, don't try to judge all African Americans based on that person. And I can't judge all Nigerians based on that person. I used to get into that. And that's stupid. Because you don't do that with white folks. White folks discriminate against your ass every day. And you will never take it out on all white people. The next white person you see, you kissing their ass. And that's the fact. We will discriminate against each other and kiss white people ass all day who call you monkeys and call you all kind of stuff and shoot you and kill you and everything else. So we got to start having more patience with our people. A lot of our people are crazy on both sides. We have a lot of idiots in the black world. Our people are sick. And we have to understand what we're dealing with. And we got to think with a black mind because our people are fucked up in the diaspora and in Africa. Because that's how they taught us how to be. We're not thinking like our real selves. So once we get out of that, it takes time though.
Okay. Pura, what do you have to say?
It's very interesting. But there's a video I saw. It was on the internet. It was a professor from the US called Professor Smalls. I think.
Yeah.
And
Eldridge Smalls.
Yeah. And I think sometimes in life, we as human beings get disappointed by our expectations.
Yes.
Professor Smalls came to Africa. I think he was really tired of American racism and everything.
He was in Ghana.
So he said, let me go home. Let me go home and find my brothers. And, this is it. This is it. So when he came here to Africa, I think he found the Africans' mindset was in a different way, that they were more of quite welcoming to the white people, and they were really, really, really welcoming, and they worshipped everything European. So Professor Smalls was on the video saying that you think African Americans are brainwashed? No, they're not. You need to go to Africa. And then I had a friend of mine, my brother. I think he's going to watch this. He's an African American. So he one time told me, he said, when I imagine Africa, I imagine monkeys jumping in forests, So sometimes expectations disappoint us. I think I'm taking an example from Professor Small, who came here expecting a radical group who are anti-white, anti-everything. And when he came, he found it different. It's the opposite of what he expected. So I think the sister came expecting something different.
Great point.
And she got something, a different reception. So I think sometimes when you say that a certain group of people doesn't like me, it's like my entire tribe had a meeting and made a resolution and said, we don't like you. So when someone says, because this is how these petty things end up starting a war.
Yes.
Like genocide in Rwanda.
Yes.
They say this group doesn't like the other one. It's just two guys. those two guys don't like each other.
Right.
What is it? This guy, they don't like us. They don't like us. So it becomes a war. So when humanity focuses on small things and make them big, then we spend time on small things. Because, we always never going to agree. Because even here in Africa, if you go now to Nigeria and you're Uganda, they will identify you. And now, after identifying you, they will say, these ones don't like to work, or this one don't like to do this. So they say, oh, no, we don't like, A few, though, many will say, okay, welcome. We like to be with you.
Yes.
So if it's just an individual thing, and we can't say an entire society. Personally, I'm African, born, raised, everything. And when I see African Americans in Africa, I feel so happy. But the reason why I do that is because I've read their history. I've understood where they came from, what's happened to them, everything. And I sympathize with these people. And I said, how did these people survive this?
Right.
I said, this is magic. You can't survive this. But this is from a point of understanding. Now, the people in the villages don't know this. They don't know what happened. They know these guys are having good life. They just, it's a walk in the park. They know these guys are billionaires. When they see an African-American coming here, they say, this guy has a lot of money. This is ignorance. We are all ignorant about each other. So when we see African-Americans on the other hand, because the thing is, we all watch from the same media.
Right.
That is the European media.
Ooh.
Now, a few days ago, there was an article in the New York Times that was saying that if in Uganda to get a bank loan, if you're fat, it's very easy. Now, that's the publicity. So someone in New York thinks that these people must be the stupidest people in the entire universe. So the mindset of someone in New York comes here thinking, I'm expecting to see stupid people.
Right.
And he comes looking around and he looks at us. And you see, when you have this picture in the head, it's what you see. So he comes and sees stupid people around, and he sees people laughing at him and say, hey, come, welcome. We're happy to see you. And he says, these people are stupid. Those people are really stupid.
Yeah.
So now the same media shows us the African Americans, the celebrities are wearing chains, twerking, the women are naked, half butt naked. So the others on drugs. This is what we see.
Yes.
So both sides are seeing negative things. So this is how we perceive each other. We say, okay, because I saw this. I happened to teach a small class. I was somewhere where there was a community of African Americans and Africans.
It's in Uganda or in the States?
No, this is actually in Afghanistan. I was in Afghanistan. I told you about that.
Oh, you're in the military, right?
Yeah, well, that's something.
Another story. Yeah, okay.
So when I taught that class, I found that the African Americans looked down the Africans, and the Africans looked down the African Americans.
Oh.
So, and these were young people looking at each other and saying, this African. So to the African American, the Africans reminded them of what the white men told them about Africa. The bad place with HIV, with disease, with the monkeys, with everything. So the African Americans said, no, we don't want to identify with this.
Oh.
Now, the Africans, on the other hand, didn't really, because the other guys didn't like them, they also didn't like them. So actually, I saw a video on one of the universities from the US. These kids end up fighting. It's a war, Africans and African Americans. So this is a crab in a bottle syndrome.
Whoa.
We fight over petty things, small things. But when we talk about big things, we don't even have time for that. Because if you're occupied with petty things,
you can't help
you don't have time for
like the things like the African Free Trade Agreement that's coming up.
Exactly.
You were talking about
if you're talking about an individual who didn't like you,
you can't get to that.
You can't talk about a free trade area. How are you going to even talk about that?
Yep.
So it's something big that that when it gets into a mindset, and this is preoccupying. And I'm happy this topic came up because I've been really telling people, my brother and sister from diaspora and from here, because the people from Uganda or from Africa, they will say some words against diaspora. And then the diaspora says some words and they say, you don't know each other. You got to just invest time to know each other, learn each other, understand each other. So you come together when you're understanding each other. When you don't understand each other, you don't have any connection. Yeah, that's what I think.
That's great.
Brilliant.
Human beings are always triggered by personal slights.
Hello.
If I'm insulted by this person who's of that other culture, if I'm an African American, I'm insulted by an African person, and I'm personally slighted by that, I'm going to attach it to everybody. I'm going to generalize that the whole crew is like that. But not everybody is, and vice versa. So I think, again, to the point, a lot of brilliant points being raised today. We need to elevate the conversation.
Yep.
We need to start talking about things that matter.
Right.
It's not about who likes each other. How many times have you been able to transact a business deal with somebody who you didn't go out and have drinks with? Just because we're not buddies and homies and we don't exchange birthday cards and know each other's kids' names, we can't get business done together?
Right.
Just because we have philosophical differences or we might come from different cultures, ethnic, religious backgrounds, right? Muslims and Christians can do business together.
All the time.
Blacks and whites can do business together.
Mm-hmm.
Africans and African Americans can do business together, not only do business in a way that's mutually beneficial, but sustainable for the growth of the continent, for the growth of our people.
Right.
In a way that, I mean, I know we have another important topic coming up, but for me, it's about, like, America is on a train to hell.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
And if in these next 10 years, African Americans don't wake up and understand that my only refuge is to come to Africa, then hey, that's a story for another day and another time. I'm just saying, we better figure out how to get along.
Right.
And we better figure out how not to just get along, but how to see the best in each other and how to see how to create benefit, create growth, create harmony and understanding together, because it's a war going on outside.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's a war. It's a philosophical war. It's an economic war. I mean, Asians are occupying this continent at an alarming rate because of the fact they have economic power to create infrastructure here, and they're being welcomed like saviors and heroes. But 50 years from now, when the vast majority of Africa's big cities are dominated by Asian industry, it'll be a different story.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to come together and mitigate the need for that as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's a lot of layers to this.
They definitely coming. And it's a great point. I was living in Poland for some time, and Polish people, I mean, they're nice in general, but they're very standoffish because of what happened to them historically with the war in Germany. And they also had a lot of their land occupied and taken away by Ukraine and Russia. So now when you look at Poland in the way that they are, even now, they don't like people from Germany. They don't like almost anybody. But they're in the European Union. And when I was in Europe, it was easy for me to get things from Amazon Deutsch. I could get on the train and go to Romania. I can go to, Budapest. And despite all that turmoil where you had those people that didn't like each other, and yet World War II was just 70 years ago. They're doing business all the time. And and that's like about war. Your territory was occupied, it was destroyed. Germany and UK were in the same union after all of that. And somebody don't like you and you mad. And it's I got people in the African American community that I don't like. I mean, and they don't like me. But like you said, is it beneficial? And like you said, that's the important thing. We are the sleeping giant of the Black world. We will have the largest Africa Free Trade Agreement economy in the world, the biggest trading bloc. We have one of the most powerful and diasporas in the world. But we're the only ones, like a baby elephant, trying to pull its leg after it's grown on a twig and won't pull it. So once we get past all of the mind games and stuff like that, and understanding somebody not gonna like you, understanding everybody's not going to look at you in the same parity that you will look at them. Now, that's a big deal. When we come here, we expect it to be treated with the same parity. And not everybody is woke. Not everybody has that knowledge of self or who you are. That happens in the Black community too. The way that you want your brothers to treat them, they may or may not treat you the same way, which is okay. You just don't fuck with them no more like that. But we have so much opportunity when we look at the upside. And the more I start looking at Uganda, and the more Agabe explained it to me, and even the brother here earlier today, I'm like, wow, this is so much opportunity. I don't have time to be beefing with nobody. Yeah, because it's stuff to be done. So we want to encourage all our people to, work with everybody that you can in the Black community. There's a lot of talented Africans that will help you. There's a lot of talented African Americans that will help you. Some people are not going to like you, but the ones, if you can get 5 or 10 people together, it can change your life. And some of us in our community, we're not used to growing up in like the communities of old, like my mom and my grandma and them. We're kind of standoffish, trying to do everything by yourself. But once we get out of that habit, man, we have so much that we can do here, so much we can do back there. It's scary. It can kill you trying to get all the opportunity that Africa can give you. You can die. You can die. Like if you were trying to get all the opportunities you can get, you will die first before you can get it. That's how much it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you have some money, but you're in the casket. You would die. So we need help, and we need people who are forward-thinking, problem solvers that can speak both languages and bring our communities together so we can get to work.
And now each of you has said something really powerful, and I hope that whoever is watching is learning something, learning a thing or two. But guys, what are your last remarks on this?
I actually wanted to say that.
Please.
Said something very that how black people, African people ended up being sold like chicken, slavery. Was because the chiefs who were leading people could not come together and unite. So the Arabs were the first people to come here and trade us. They would come and pick. Now the Arabs were picking concubines, mostly women. So they would come, take. So if you converted to Islam, you would be spared. But the point is, when the Europeans came, it became massive. The only reason why our ancestors were sold like chicken is that the chiefs, the leaders, were looking at small things. And they never united to fight against a common enemy. So now the European slave traders were smart. They said, you know what? Let's now side with Uganda. And they said, Uganda chief, don't worry. Everything is okay. But we want to get Wanyankore. We want to get Aru people or Acholi. So the Uganda would go out and fight the other ones. I'm giving an example.
Yeah.
So you would find that after finishing the men the other side, they will come back and get this Uganda. And they'll take the chief after taking everyone. So, and this has been our problem. We always look for things that can separate us. And we miss out the things that can unite us. And the other thing I've seen in life, which I've seen, is that poor people never like each other. They never. You see an example from here in Africa.
Yeah.
When we have politics, when we're discussing politics, the rich people discuss normally in this. It's a good discussion. They disagree and agree. But the poor people hack each other to death. They kill each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they say, no, who are you? You have a big nose, you have a long nose, you have a big ear, you have a what?
Yeah.
They hack each other to death. Because and this is it. And so when I saw African Americans and Africans, and I told them, look, you guys have the same problems. You guys are all poor. We don't have money, we are poor. So how can poor people even have, a discussion which is in anger?
Right.
You must unite to work.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, and this, when we go back to look at all these things, we understand one thing, that as human beings, let's even leave the African thing. As human beings, there are always small disagreements. But as a society, you must look for common interests and move, even when you have these small discussions which are, taking you back a bit, but you have to keep moving. They're always there. They always have to be there. But you have to keep moving. And most of the leaders, leave alone, I wouldn't really, but the leaders who are leading people, it's very important to guide them and say, this is where we are going.
Right.
So that they raise above pettiness. Now, the challenge which I see in diaspora is that leaders have become so selfish. These black figures, these pastors.
Yes.
Even
yes.
here.
Oh, yeah.
So these are people who are supposed to guide society and say, this is where we are going.
Yes.
But everyone is a thief. Everyone is taking to their house. Everyone running into their house.
Yeah.
There's no way you can guide people.
Yes.
So the people now stay there without leadership. The only leadership they have is the leadership from the Ku Klux Klan. And the Klan is telling them, well, the Africans are stupid and dumb. And it's telling Africans, the African Americans are stupid. They don't have anything. I remember I asked one senior officer in the military, the U.S. military. This is how I actually started understanding slavery and everything, because I was ignorant. If you ask most Africans here, they will tell you, we don't know much about slavery. We learned it in school.
Yes.
But you don't really understand what it was
What happened?
about.
Yeah.
So I was excited to be around white people and what. It was very exciting. From Africa, you see white people, it was an excitement.
Yeah.
So but I started seeing, I saw the black people were in lower ranks. The white people were at a senior rank. So I asked one white guy, I said, why are the black people in lower ranks and the white ones in in the upper rank.
Mm-hmm.
He said, the black people don't want to go to school. So I said, that's weird. So there's a group of people that doesn't want to school. But I said, why? Why wouldn't a group doesn't want to school? Why wouldn't it want to go to school?
Right.
So I kept following the trail. And I asked someone told me, I said, oh, well, this comes all the way from slavery. I said, what do you mean slavery? He said, you don't know slavery? I said, I don't know about slavery.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you don't know slavery? I don't know nothing about slavery. I heard about school. We were singing a song about slavery. But I didn't know that there was something like slavery. When I dug into slavery, I remember he told me, you go on the internet. I went and Googled and I saw the first picture was that. There's a picture which they normally say is Frederick Douglass, but it's not. It's a guy called Whipped John. I think he's Whipped John. The guy was whipped in the back. And
Yes.
So I saw the picture and it was terror that came around me. And I said, and I read a small, whatever, not what that was on it. It was saying that this Frederick Douglass was a slave and he tried to escape and the master got him back and they didn't want him to read. And I said, wait a minute. I said, wait a minute. So these people, they were not supposed to read. So I said, I have to start reading from today.
Yeah.
And from that day, this is almost like 15 years ago, I've never put a book down. But from then, I started understanding why the white man told me that. Why? And if I hadn't really followed up to find out why, my mindset would have said, these people are stupid. I would have classified them as stupid. But not everyone has to be like me. There has to be leaders and there are people who follow. The leaders, the onus is on the leaders to guide people, to come together. The good thing now, the African Union has put a docket for representative for diaspora. It's a permanent representative for diaspora, for the Caribbean, for African American. That's why you saw when they murdered George Floyd, the African Union put out a statement. Because now African Union recognizes African diaspora as a country.
Okay, yes, true.
Yeah. So we're taking steps. So leadership has to stand up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the rest can, but the leadership has to come up. But when we have people like the ones that tell you, the pastors, are like who are not leading people,
Right.
who are stealing from us. If you have people like Candace Owens,
Yeah, I don't like her.
you know, when you have such people, and these people have 2 million followers,
Yes.
and they have people who believe in them, and they are telling them, you know, A, B, C, and D. That's wrong. This is what we need to fight against. Thank you.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Wow. Guys, who wants to add on that?
No, that was enough to save the whole entire city of Sacramento, where I'm from, right there. That would have saved the whole city.
Yeah.
Stopped all the gun violence. So I'm done.
Okay. So just tell people where they can find you. Gabs, please.
Follow me at Master Gabs, Instagram, Twitter, Allergic to Average Podcast,
Yeah.
at A2A_podcast.
Okay.
Check it out.
Perfect. For where can the people
Okay,
find
you can find me on Twitter. I'm active on Twitter. Facebook, yes, once in a while, because our country shut it down. It was trying to bring trouble
By
here.
the way.
Yeah, but Twitter, Sherura Mpora Katragure. But the handle is African Brother with a BROTHA. So that's where you can find me. Then on Facebook, Sherura Mpora. I know for diaspora it might be the difficult names, but I think
If you screenshot it,
No, it's okay.
We'll
We'll put
put
it
it
on
there.
the screen.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's good. Okay,
Yeah. It's all right. Oshay.
don't message me. I'm tired of it.
Now, since you can't message Oshay, you can send us an email at teamkenganda@gmail.com if you have anything you'd like to share with us. We will look at it. Also, follow us on all our social media pages at Kenganda Nation. Follow the Pan African Dating Show if you want to find some love. We'll see you guys next time.